What's up guys, Tristan here, and I am back with another video here in Quarantine Central, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my 4 favorite camera apps that I have on my iPhone. Yeah, I know it's not top 5 or top 3, it's a little weird, but my 4 favorite apps. Now, this by no means is an in-depth review or tutorial on how to use these apps. I'm just going to highlight several features that make them my favorite, and maybe I'll do a tutorial on 1 or 2 of them down the road. It would take entirely too long to make an in-depth review for 4 apps, so I'm just not going to do that right now. Now we're going to go ahead and dive right into this, and the first app we're going to talk about today is the Moment app. So if you're familiar with my channel by now, you know that I am a huge fan of the company by the name of Moment, who obviously made this app. But if you're new around here, Moment is a company based in Seattle that focuses on mobile filmmaking. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the screen recording process started. So that's going right now. Then I'm going to open up the Moment app. And you can see right now we are in photo mode. Now there are 4 different modes to choose from in the Moment app. There's photo mode, video, slow shutter, and time lapse. Real quick, we'll go back to photo. What's nice about this is that you can choose whether you want to shoot in RAW, JPEG, or TIFF. You can also do timed photos as well. So there's 3 seconds and 10 seconds. But for the sake of this video, when it comes to like manual settings, we're going to go to video mode. And the first thing off the bat that I really like is that there's a histogram on the bottom left of the frame, and there is a sound meter at the bottom of the screen. So if we go up top, you can see right now I am in the log color profile. This is the default color profile, and here is flat. I like to stick in RAW just because it's a lot easier to color grade once you're in post. So back up to the top, and we're going to go to the right where you can see the resolution. Right now we're at 4K, but it starts at 720, then 1080, then back to 4K. And to the right of that is our frame rate, which is right now we're at 24, goes to 30, then to 48, then to 60. I like shooting at 24 frames per second, but of course, if I want to slow something down, I'm going to shoot at 60. Going back to the app, you can also choose which lens you're shooting with, which is awesome because again, Moment is a mobile filmmaking company and they make lenses. This is especially important if you're going to shoot anamorphic, because if you select that feature, it's going to de-squeeze the frame for you, which is awesome. And now if we go back to the bottom of the screen, you can choose your white balance. Right now I'm at auto white balance, but that's nice. We're going to go ahead and set it back right about there. There's autofocus, there's your EV, there's your ISO, and your shutter speed. So if we hop over to time-lapse mode, you can see we have some of the same settings at the very bottom: your EV, your autofocus, your white balance. But you can also choose if you want to shoot in JPEG or TIFF. You can also choose the resolution you're at, and you can choose the intervals too. So to get that blurriness in your time-lapse or your hyperlapse, in the middle you can select effect, and it'll go over to bracketing, and then light trails if you're doing like long exposures with traffic lights, and motion blur. So if you select motion blur, you'll have that blurriness in your hyperlapse or time-lapse video. So here's an example of a hyperlapse. I made this one the other day. I needed to get out of the house, so I went for about a half-hour drive. So I set my phone up to shoot a hyperlapse with the motion blur, stuck my phone on the dashboard and make sure it was stable enough so it wouldn't fall over, and just recorded this simple little hyperlapse. I think it came out pretty well. That's it for the Moment app. We're gonna go ahead and talk about my second favorite app, which is RTRO. So funny story, I actually made a video about the RTRO app maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. You can watch it here or wherever that thing pops up, but it's basically an app developed by Moment that allows you to shoot up to minute-long IG stories with vintage filters made by different filmmakers. Now the cool part about this app, and I say this in that video as well, is that you can shoot in different increments, not the 15-second increment that Instagram allows. You can have like a 5-second clip there, a 3-second clip there, an 8-second clip there, and it builds and builds until you hit a minute long. And then once you hit that minute, you can export your clip to your camera roll, and then you can upload it onto your Instagram stories, so you don't have that 15-second cut. You can just cut whenever you want. You can have that clip last as long as you want. I love this app. I use it whenever me and Steph go out on our adventures, whether it be to the pier or a Laker game. It definitely comes in handy, especially if you want to make your Instagram stories pop. So I recommend this app. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the third favorite app that I have on my phone right now, and that app is called VSCO. All right, the next app we're going to talk about is the VSCO app, or VSCO, whichever you prefer. I don't care. This app is very popular amongst mobile photographers out there. You guys might have heard of it yourselves at one point, but it's still one of my favorite apps, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and start the screen recording process again, and we're going to go into the VSCO app. And as you can see, I already have several photos imported into my library. But you can either take a photo by hitting the camera in the left-hand corner. It brings up the camera, you take your shot, and it imports it. Or you can add photos from your camera roll by hitting the plus sign on the top right corner and just select which photos, and it'll bring it in. I already imported photos, obviously, so we're gonna select this one right here. This shot was actually taken as we were landing in Chicago a couple months ago. So I like to edit my photos first before applying a filter. So if you go to the editing suite, you can choose like your exposure, your contrast, your sharpening, clarity, saturation, your highlights and shadows, your white balance. You can edit a lot when it comes to this app. The fade, I kind of like dealing with that too, and the vignette as well. So once I'm done editing the photo, I'll jump into the filters, and these are some of the filters that you can select from. You got to pay for more, obviously, but the cool thing about the filters is that you can choose the strength of them by tapping on the filter and scrolling up and down on that meter. I typically keep mine all the way up just because that's just what I do. One thing about this app, you can also color grade your videos as well, but that's also a paid feature. So I typically use this app on the fly, and I'll upload photos to my Instagram stories with like a nice white border. Some of you guys know that if you follow me, but this is the app I edit those photos in. So that's it for VSCO Cam, or VSCO. The last app we're going to talk about is the HUJI app. All right, so last but not least is the HUJI app, not to be confused with Fuji, but this is another app that allows you to add vintage filters to your pictures. But this is like more so a Polaroid type app, so it'll add like light leaks and scratches. So this app is actually really simple to use. Let me go ahead and again start the screen recording. I should have just had it recording this entire video. So I'm gonna open up the HUJI app, and automatically you can see this weird little screen. Now, if you look in the top left, you see this weird little viewfinder, which is very weird. So I choose not to use that. Instead, what I'll do is I'll take a picture with my regular iPhone camera and then import it into the library. So all you have to do is you hit lab, and then at the bottom, you hit the plus sign, and then it'll open up your camera roll. I'm going to go to the favorites just for the sake of this video right here. And then you can select what photos you want to basically use and edit with a vintage filter. So I selected about 15 of those. And then once you have your photos selected, all you have to do is hit that check mark. You can choose to have the date there or not. And if you choose the date, it's 1998 or the current date. And I have random light effects selected. So you'll hit begin developing. And so it's going to develop those 15 shots. So we're going to wait. And then all the pictures are developed, and as you can see, it randomly goes through each of your photos and adds different light leaks and again scratches and film grain to your shots. It does it at random. You can't really choose what you want, but I think that's the fun in the app. You just never know what it's going to come up with. So that is the HUJI app. Again, really simple. All you have to do at the end is hit the down arrow and it'll save it to your camera roll. I forgot that part. And now we can get to the part where I wrap this video up. So that does it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If there are any apps out there that I did not mention in this video, please feel free to drop them down in the comments and I'll check them out myself. One app that does get an honorable mention is Filmic Pro. I do have it on my phone, but I haven't used it in a long time, and I know they did a huge upgrade late last year. I just haven't been able to check it out yet, but I will, so don't think I haven't forgotten about that. But yeah, I'm out of here, guys. So my name is Tristan Irvin. Follow me on social media. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. Follow me on social media, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.